Hey YouTube, it's Alicia here, and I'm coming to y'all with some WWE information. If you haven't heard it, let me give it to you here first. So let's get started. So we are going to, before we get to start with the big information about the WWE Divas that they announced tonight, we're going to talk about the matches. So we had a lot of we had one title belt changing hands, but let's get started. So I want to start with the beginning of the night. So Braun Strowman is out there saying he's going to get Brock Lesnar, and who comes out? Then Corbin. Now Brian Corbin, I knew he was up to something, but what he pulled, I feel like he should have been the one who was punished, and not, and I say, and not, not Braun Strowman. Why? Braun Strowman would have never have done that if he was looking for none other than Brian Corbin. So I really wish Vince McMahon goes back and look at that security footage and see that Braun Strowman was the one who's mostly at fault here, and that's the person who he should be suspending, should be suspended, and should none other give that $100,000 to, and have him fix his limo. I'm just saying. So now we don't. We got a new person who's going to be the number one contender for Brock Lesnar, but I'm going to get to that in just a minute. But I want to talk about the match that started the show. None other, Ronda Rousey and Sasha Banks versus Nia Jax and Tamina. Man, this match I can actually say, was a phenomenal match. Everybody was going back and forth, but in the long run, Ronda Rousey and Sasha won. So after they won, Ronda kept putting her foot in her mouth. Let's just say, kept putting her foot in her mouth. Then it went to the back after the commercial break, trying to keep Sasha and Ronda Rousey from each other. So you got Bayley on one side and Natalya on the other, trying to keep the peace and thing. And I just thought, okay. And then they was finna get into it themselves until the infamous Ruby Riott and the Riot Squad come up in there and challenging them to a match. And they said, if you can get somebody to team with you. Y'all, I'm going to come back to that because that was a good match. Now, I want to talk about Lucha House Party versus the Revival, because this ended with a cheating win. Let me just say, the Revival cheated to win because of last week. I don't feel like that's their fault. They are lumberjacks to put y'all back in the ring anytime somebody get out of the ring. So what really happened, is happened. So y'all know Chad Gable and Robert Roode is still Raw's tag team champions. So that's just telling me you need to work on your craft. So you can't put the blame on anybody. That's all I have to say about that situation. But like I'm saying, the Revival cheated to win. So we'll have to see what that is about. So then we had the after that we had the Riot Squad versus Bayley and a mystery competitor. Who was the mystery competitor? None other. Who they've been talking about, these newer people that's finna call up, and what they're doing with these newer guys, they are giving them a chance on Raw and SmackDown, and let's see how they do on Raw, how they do on SmackDown each week. So we're going to see how that's going to go. But who was Bayley and Natalya's partner? It's Nikki. It's Nikki. Nikki wants to play. Baby, it was one of my favorite moments just to see that. And let me just tell you something. That was a great match. Let me just say, Nikki Cross showcased very well. A couple back here, a couple of months ago, when she went up against Becky Lynch, she showcased very well, and tonight she showcased very well. But I actually gonna say she's part of Insanity, so whatever Insanity is at, she should be part of too. And I said I'm gonna have to say the Divas division better watch out, because I don't think Nikki will play that mess now. Don't mess with her. Now, the next thing is, let me talk about this particular match. It was Dean Ambrose defending his Intercontinental title belt versus Seth Rollins and Bobby Lashley. Man, that was a good match, but I hated that it was a disqualification match because I didn't like that Leo Rush was getting involved into the match, and it that kind of with having him part of that. I actually really wish they if they had done this, it should have been Dean Ambrose versus Seth Rollins versus Bobby Lashley and Leo Rush, because to put him a part of the match just to be sure nobody interfered. But they didn't do that. Leo Rush interfered, and now Bobby Lashley is the new Intercontinental Champion. Bobby Lashley is, let me just say, and I will give you my WWE man crush for today. So let's see what we're going to might be. And let's talk about this match. John Cena versus Finn Balor versus Drew McIntyre versus Brian Connor. Let me just tell y'all, this match I love because you have a guy, and I can still, like I'm telling y'all, Vince McMahon is pulling his old tactics with Drew McIntyre like he did back in the day when Drew McIntyre was on WWE. If you don't remember, Drew McIntyre was once none other Vince McMahon's favorite golden boy at the time. So he thought this guy would be the guy to defeat John Cena, and that wasn't the case. Alright. And he said, I don't think you could. And so he was like, gave Jinder Mahal a chance to see if he asked Jinder Mahal, asked him for a chance. So it was like, before we get, so I'm getting off subject, but so the person that will be fighting for that Universal Championship, it would be Finn Balor challenging Brock Lesnar for that title belt. I got 2 words to say. Yes, I am happy. Now, I am not for Alex Bliss moment thing like Chris Jericho does and thing. But let me just give you this date. I want y'all to mark February 17th. The Elimination Chambers first. We'll be having 3 tag teams from Raw, 3 tag teams from SmackDown, and the women will fight to be called the first ever women's tag team champions. First ever women's tag team champions. Now, if I can say the 3 from each brand, I will have to say this, y'all. When it comes to Raw, I will have to say Bayley. I would have to say Bayley and Sasha Banks. That's one. Tamina and Nia Jax. And if I have to put it down, maybe it's a lot of other tag teams, but I will have to say, and this is where I will bite my tongue, I will have to say the Riott Squad, but I will put them in as a alternate. But I'll put them in, they would be number 4 because I will put them in as an alternate just in case something happens to somebody else. Now, if I could say for that 3rd team, I will have to say, can somebody say Trish Stratus and Lita? Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. So, yes, I would have to say that. Those would be my 3 picks for Raw. But if I could say for SmackDown, ooh, that would be a toughie. But I know the Iconics would be one. Let's see. Asuka and Naomi, come on. That would be a good thing to see. And oh my god. Well, the third one would probably be a wild card because then I know they probably would have an alternate. So those are my favorite. But if I can, I'm gonna wait till I get closer to that date to do my predictions for this. But I'm not gonna. I will say for if Raw won, I would want to see Sasha Banks and Bayley win. But if SmackDown won, I don't know who I would want to win. So y'all, let me hear from y'all. How do y'all feel about tonight's show? And how do y'all feel about Bobby Lashley winning the Intercontinental title belt in a no disqualification match with none other Leo Rush interfering? And how do y'all feel now knowing that Braun Strowman is not going against Brock Lesnar and stuff? And and the question with this is, should Brian Connor be more responsible of what happened to the limousine than Braun Strowman? And then the third question is, are y'all excited to see Finn Balor going up against Brock Lesnar? Okay, y'all, I'm Alicia. Don't forget to thumbs up this video, comment below, and subscribe to my channel. Bye.